There comes a moment in life when you must look in the mirror and ask yourself, when was the last time I showed up for me? Because the truth is simple. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give your best to the world while abandoning yourself. You cannot build a meaningful life while treating yourself like an afterthought. You cannot give what you no longer have, yet so many people live their entire lives trying to show up for everyone else while quietly abandoning themselves. You try to be strong for your family, supportive for your friends, reliable for your responsibilities, and available for every request that comes your way, but inside, you're running on fumes. You wake up tired, you move through the day exhausted, and you go to bed feeling like you've given the world everything except the one thing that matters most, your own well-being. Imagine a cup filled with water. Every time someone needs something, your time, your attention, your advice, your help, they take a little from that cup. At first, it feels manageable. You want to be there, you want to help, you want to show love. But slowly, day by day, without realizing it, the cup becomes emptier. And life doesn't stop taking. People don't stop needing. Problems don't wait for you to refill. Before long, you look up and realize the cup is dry completely, painfully empty. And when your cup is empty, something changes inside you. You start feeling irritated by small things. You begin to resent the responsibilities you once handled with ease. You feel overwhelmed, overstressed. Your mind becomes foggy, your motivation slips, your patience thins, your spirit feels heavy, and even the things that once brought you joy start to feel like a burden. Not because you don't care, but because you're drained. When you ignore your own needs for too long, burnout becomes your baseline. You keep functioning, but not truly living. You keep giving, but not from a place of fullness, only from habit and expectation. And eventually, something inside you whispers that soft, painful truth. I need to take care of me. You deserve to feel whole again. You deserve to feel strong again. You deserve to have a cup that's overflowing, not leaking. Because when your cup is full, when you're rested, supported, healthy, emotionally balanced, you don't just give, you give better. You don't just show up, you show up fully with heart, with clarity, with enthusiasm, with genuine love instead of exhaustion. Replenishing yourself is not a luxury. It's not option, not something you do when you have time. It is a necessity, a requirement, a foundation for everything else in your life. Your relationships improve when you're not burned out. Your work improves when your mind is clear. Your mood lifts when your spirit is supported. Your decisions become wiser when your emotional cup is full. And here's the truth most people never learn until it's too late. Self-neglect doesn't make you stronger. It makes you weaker. Self-sacrifice doesn't make you noble. It makes you invisible. And ignoring your own needs doesn't make you caring. It makes you empty. Taking time to refill your cup through rest, peace, solitude, reflection, or anything that brings you back to yourself is not selfish. It is the most powerful gift you can give to your future. Because a full cup doesn't just serve you, it spills over and uplifts everyone around you. Some people grow up believing that taking care of themselves is a sign of weakness, that resting is laziness. That saying, I need time for me, is somehow wrong. That putting themselves first means they are neglecting others. But this mindset is one of the biggest reasons people burn out, lose themselves, and live lives filled with stress, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. The truth is simple but life-changing. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is survival. Self-care is responsibility. Self-care is strength. You cannot operate at your best if you constantly ignore your own needs. You cannot expect your mind to stay sharp, your emotions to stay stable, or your body to stay strong. If you never give yourself the care you deserve, you wouldn't run a machine nonstop without maintenance. You wouldn't drive a car without refueling. Yet so many of us push ourselves harder than anything else in our lives, all while denying ourselves rest, compassion, and restoration. Self-care is not about bubble baths, vacations, or luxury. It goes much deeper than that. It is about honoring the parts of yourself you've ignored for years. It is about giving yourself permission to step back when you feel overwhelmed. It is about understanding that your mental health matters, your emotional health matters, and your peace matters just as much as anyone else's. Self-care means listening to your body when it whispers, I'm tired, before it screams, I can't do this anymore. It means noticing your emotions before they explode in frustration or despair. It means acknowledging your needs instead of burying them behind responsibilities and expectations. It is also about boundaries. Saying no when your plate is full is an act of self-care. Walking away from toxic situations is self-care. Reducing contact with draining people is self-care. Choosing silence instead of arguing with someone who refuses to understand you is self-care. Protecting your peace is self-care in its purest form. And the most powerful part, self-care creates a version of you that is stronger, clearer, and more capable. When you take care of your energy, your decisions become better. When you give yourself rest, your creativity increases. When you protect your mental space, your focus sharpens. When you nurture your emotional well-being, your relationships deepen. You show up for the world from a place of strength instead of survival. Self-care teaches you that you are worthy of care even when you're not productive. You are worthy of rest even when you haven't horned it. You are worthy of love even when no one is watching. You are worthy because you exist. People who call self-care selfish often benefit from your lack of boundaries. They are comfortable when you overwork and overextend. But choosing yourself doesn't mean you love others less. It simply means you're finally learning to love yourself enough to stop abandoning your own needs. When you prioritize self-care, you rebuild the parts of you that the world drained. You heal wounds you didn't even know were still open. You strengthen your mind and protect your heart. You create balance in a life that has demanded too much of you for too long. Self-care is essential because you are essential. Your health, your peace, your happiness, your inner stability, they are not negotiable. They are the foundation of your life, and without them, everything around you eventually collapses. There comes a point when you must confront a hard truth. You've made a habit of putting yourself last, and it has cost you more than you realize. You've prioritized everyone else's needs, deadlines, emotions, crises, and expectations while quietly burying your own. You've smiled when you were hurting. You've given when you were empty. You've stayed strong when all you wanted was someone to notice your struggle. You've been the dependable one, the responsible one, the one who always shows up even when no one shows up for you. Somewhere along the way, you convinced yourself that your needs didn't matter as much, that other people deserve more of your time than you did, that your dreams, that your rest could wait, that your healing could wait. And with every sacrifice you made for others, you slowly disappeared from your own life. Putting yourself last becomes a pattern without you realizing it. It starts with small compromises, something as simple as saying, it's fine when it's not. Then comes the guilt when you finally want to do something for yourself. Then comes the excuses. I'll focus on me later, Doc. I'll rest when I'm done helping everyone else. I'll deal with my needs eventually, but eventually never comes. And the world won't stop asking for more. People will continue to keep taking as long as you keep giving. Responsibilities will keep growing. Life will stay busy. Your calendar will stay full. Your emotional energy will keep draining. Because when you put yourself last, you teach others to do the same. You send the message silently, unintentionally, that your feelings are negotiable, your needs are flexible, and your presence should always be available. But deep inside, there is a different reality every time you put yourself last. A piece of your confidence fades. A piece of your joy dims. a piece of your identity slips away. You start feeling like a supporting character in your own life, a background figure in a story you were supposed to lead. And the more you give without replenishing, the more resentment builds quietly in your heart. You start wondering why no one checks on you the way you check on them, why no one supports you the way you support them, why no one makes you a priority even though you make everyone else a priority. But the truth is painful and simple. People often mirror the value you place on yourself. If you treat yourself as an afterthought, they will too. Putting yourself last is also dangerous because it makes you forget what you truly want. You get so used to meeting others' expectations that you stop asking what makes you happy. You forget your own dreams. You silence your desires. You downplay your passions. You shrink yourself to make room for others. And slowly, you become tired, not just physically tired, but emotionally and spiritually drained. Tired of being everything for everyone. Tired of being overlooked. Tired of being strong all the time. Tired of giving without receiving. Tired of living a life where your needs sit at the very bottom of your priority list. But acknowledging this isn't a weakness, it's an awakening. It's recognizing that you deserve space, you deserve rest, you deserve attention, you deserve care. You deserve the same energy you give to the world. You've spent years placing yourself last. You've ignored yourself long enough. You've carried burdens you didn't have to carry. You've silenced parts of yourself that deserve to be heard. You've postponed your happiness, your healing, your growth, your dreams. And deep down, you know that if you don't make a change, life will continue passing by while you remain stuck at the very end of your own list, unseen, unheard, and unfulfilled. For most of your life, you've been conditioned to believe that saying no makes you difficult, rude, unkind, or unhelpful. You were taught to avoid disappointing people, to avoid conflict, to avoid being seen as selfish. So you learned to say highs even when everything inside you whispered no. You learned to stretch yourself beyond your limits, to carry responsibilities that weren't yours, to prioritize other people's comfort over your own peace. But here is a truth that many people don't learn until they are exhausted, overwhelmed, and emotionally drained. Saying no is not disrespect. Saying no is self-respect. Saying no is not selfish. Saying no is self-protection. Every time you say, yes, when you really want to say no, you betray yourself. You place someone else's desires above your own well-being. You reinforce a pattern that tells people you're always available, always willing, always ready to give even at the cost of your own happiness. But your life cannot flourish if your boundaries stay weak. Your mental health cannot heal if you allow people to cross lines they should never cross. Your energy cannot thrive if you continue giving pieces of yourself to everyone who asks. A healthy no is one of the most powerful tools you have. It draws a clear line between what you can handle and what you cannot. It shows others where your emotional, physical, and spiritual limits are. It reminds you that your time and energy are valuable, not disposable. Saying no doesn't mean you're shutting people out. It means you are choosing not to abandon yourself. It means you are choosing your peace over pressure. It means you are choosing your health over guilt. It means you are choosing your priorities over someone else's expectations. A strong no protects you from being overworked, being emotionally drained, being taken advantage of, being manipulated, being spread thin until you break. It also protects your relationships. Because when you say, Wes, out of guilt or fear, resentment grows silently. You begin to feel burdened, frustrated, or unappreciated. But when you say no honestly, you prevent bitterness from taking root. Authentic connections thrive when you show up from a place of truth, not pressure. The most powerful part about learning to say no is that it teaches others how to treat you. People who truly care for you will respect your boundaries. People who value you will understand your limits. People who love you will not punish you for protecting your peace. But those who only want you for what you can offer, those who benefit from your inability to say no, those who expect you to sacrifice your well-being for their convenience, those are the people who become upset when you finally truly choose yourself. Their reaction reveals their intentions. You are not responsible for how people feel about your boundaries. You are responsible for your own health, your own sanity, your own peace. And there is strength in choosing to stand up for yourself, even when your voice shakes. There is strength in realizing that you don't have to explain yourself to everyone. There is strength in understanding that your no does not require justification or apology. Saying no is freedom. It is clarity, it is balance. It is reclaiming control of your life after years of giving it away. Because every no you give to something that drains you becomes a yes to something that heals you, your rest, your goals, your peace, your growth, your happiness. One of the greatest misunderstandings in life is believing that your worth is measured by how much you give to others while giving nothing to yourself. You pour love into people who barely notice your effort. You support others through their storms while silently drowning in your own. You show up for people who don't always show up for you. You forgive quickly, you give freely, you stay loyal even when you're hurting, and yet when it comes to caring for yourself, you hesitate. But here's the truth you've overlooked for too long. You deserve the same kindness, patience, compassion, and support that you offer to everyone else. You are not exempt from the care you keep giving. You are not undeserving of rest, comfort, or emotional safety. You are not meant to treat yourself like a burden when you treat everyone else like they matter. Think about how you show up for others. When someone you care about feels lost, you guide them. When they're hurting, you comfort. When they're overwhelmed, you remind them they're not alone. When they make mistakes, you tell them it's okay to be human. When they feel tired, you encourage them to rest. But when it's you who is exhausted, confused, hurting, or broken, you minimize your own needs. You tell yourself to push through. You convince yourself that your feelings don't matter. You silence your own pain because you don't want to inconvenience anyone. You hold yourself to a standard of strength you would never expect from someone else. You treat others with compassion, but treat yourself with criticism. You comfort others, but ignore your own wounds. You forgive others easily, but judge yourself harshly. You take care of everyone, but forget that you too are a person who needs care. Why do you believe everyone else deserves support except you? Why do you think you must earn rest while others are allowed to have it freely? Why do you assume your emotions must always take second place to someone else's? You deserve care not because you're perfect, but because you're human. You do deserve care because your heart carries weight people don't see. You deserve care because you give so much that your soul gets tired. You deserve care because you have needs, even if you rarely admit them. The world has taught you to be strong, but strength does not mean neglect. The world has taught you to be giving, but giving does not mean draining yourself. The world has taught you to be responsible, but responsibility includes taking care of your own well-being. Loving yourself is not arrogance, it is balance. Caring for yourself is not weakness, it is wisdom. Investing in yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. And the truth is, the people in your life benefit more when you are cared for. You show up better for. You show up better when you're not running on empty. You love more deeply when your heart isn't exhausted. You think more clearly when your mind isn't overwhelmed. You feel more alive when your spirit is nourished. The care you give to others is powerful, but the care you give to yourself is life-changing. When you finally start treating yourself with the same gentleness and compassion you offer to everyone else, you begin to heal in ways you didn't realize you needed. You begin to feel worthy, whole, grounded, and strong again. You begin to feel human again, not a machine, not a savior, not a solution, just a person who also deserves love, rest, understanding, and peace. You have spent so much time uplifting others. Now it's time to uplift yourself with the same devotion. because you deserve it. You always have. There is a point in your life where you must understand that peace doesn't just happen. You must protect it, guard it, nurture it, and sometimes even fight for it. No one else is responsible for the state of your mind, the calmness in your heart, or the stability of your spirit. Other people can contribute to your joy, but they should never control your peace. That responsibility belongs to you and you alone. For too long, you've allowed outside forces to dictate how you feel inside. You've allowed people's attitudes to change your mood. You've allowed their negativity to drain your energy. You've allowed their chaos to spill into your life. You've allowed their demands to overwhelm your mind. You've allowed their drama to steal your clarity. And every time you let someone disturb your inner world, you lose a little more of yourself. You lose focus. You lose emotional balance. You lose the stability you've worked hard to build. You lose the sense of control over your own life. But here's the truth most people never realize until they're forced to. Peace is not something you find, it's something you create. It's something you protect with boundaries. It's something you defend with discipline. It's something you choose every day, especially on the days when everything tries to steal it from you. Your peace is your responsibility because you are the one living with your thoughts. You are the one facing your fears. You are the one carrying your stress. You are the one navigating your emotions. No one else feels your inner turbulence the way you do. And no one else can calm it the way you can. Sometimes protecting your peace means distancing yourself from people you care about, but who constantly drain you. Sometimes protecting your peace means the walking away from conversations that only create tension. Sometimes it means saying nothing instead of defending yourself to someone who refuses to understand you. Sometimes it means letting go of battles you don't need to fight, explanations you don't owe, and responsibilities that aren't yours to carry. It also means being mindful of the environments you put yourself in. Some rooms disrupt your inner balance. Some atmospheres silence your intuition. Some circles encourage negativity instead of growth. And part of protecting your peace is learning to walk away, not because you're weak, but because you value your mental well-being too much to stay somewhere that destroys it. Protecting your peace means becoming aware of your own triggers and choosing not to repeat patterns that hurt you. It means controlling your reactions, not everything else around you. It means choosing silence when it preserves your sanity. It means choosing solitude when your soul needs rest. It means choosing stillness when the world demands movement. And most importantly, protecting your peace means no longer giving people free access to your emotions. Not everyone deserves your energy. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone deserves the deepest parts of your heart. Some people only bring noise, not value. Some bring stress, not support. Some bring storms, not calm. You get to decide who enters your inner world. You get to decide what you allow to disturb you. You get to decide what you tolerate, what you entertain, and what you walk away from. Your peace is sacred. Your peace is healing. Your peace is the foundation of your strength. And when you protect it, you rebuild parts of your life that were torn apart by chaos, confusion, and emotional imbalances. One of the biggest realizations you will ever have in life is understanding that your time and your energy are two of the most precious things you possess. They are limited. They cannot be replaced. Once they are gone forever. And yet for much of your life, you've allowed people, situations, and obligations to drain both without hesitation. You've poured your time into people who didn't appreciate it. You've invested your energy into conversations that brought no growth. You've spent hours trying to fix people who had no intention of changing. You've given your attention to distractions that stole your focus from your own goals. You've used your emotional strength to carry burdens that were never yours to carry. Every day, you wake up with a certain amount of mental emotional, and physical energy. And the way you use it, it determines the quality of your life. But often you've allowed anyone and anything to tap into that energy, leaving you exhausted before your day even begins. Here's the truth: not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your time. Not everyone deserves your emotional labor. Your time and energy are currencies. You spend them every day. What you spend them on determines who you become. If you keep spending them on negativity, you become drained. If you spend them on people who take without giving, you become empty. If you spend them on trying to be everything for everyone, you eventually lose yourself. But when you consciously choose where your energy goes, your life changes. When you become selective with your time, your priorities become clearer. When you stop giving unlimited access to people who drain you, your peace strengthens. When you stop sacrificing your well-being to accommodate others, your confidence grows. Not every phone call needs to be answered. Not every message needs an immediate reply. Not every argument needs your participation. Not every request deserves a highs. Not every person deserves a seat in your life. It is not your responsibility to fix every problem, solve every issue, or entertain every demand. You are not a machine built to run without stopping. You are a human being with limits, needs, and a life of your own to live. Your time matters because you cannot get it back. Your energy matters because it shapes your emotions. Your attention matters because it determines your focus. Your boundaries matter because they protect all of the above. The more you begin to value your time, the more you'll notice how much of it you've wasted trying to please people. The more you begin to value your energy, the more you'll realize how often you've allowed others to drain it. The more you begin to honor your needs, the more you'll understand that giving yourself away never brought you the fulfillment you hoped for. Your time and your energy are gifts. When you give them to people who don't appreciate them, you feel depleted. When you invest them in your growth, your healing, your goals, and your peace, you feel empowered. Every minute you spend is a part of your life you'll never get back. Every ounce of energy you waste on negativity is strength you could have invested in your future. And every moment you choose yourself becomes as a step toward a life that finally feels like it belongs to you. At the end of the day, everything in your life begins with you. Your peace, your happiness, your clarity, your future, none of it can grow if you keep placing yourself at the bottom of your own life. You cannot live a fulfilled life while constantly abandoning your needs, silencing your feelings, or shrinking yourself to keep others comfortable. You cannot build a strong foundation if you are always pouring into others while neglecting to pour into your own soul. There comes a moment when you must look in the mirror and realize you matter too. Your dreams matter. Your rest matters. Your emotions matter. Your well-being matters. Your voice matters. You have been strong for everyone else. Now it's time to be strong for yourself. You have been lifting others for years. Now it's time to lift yourself. You have been giving without hesitation. Now it's time to give yourself the love, patience, and compassion you have always offered to the world. Making yourself a priority doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It means you stop abandoning yourself. It means you start listening to your needs, honoring your boundaries, protecting your peace, and choosing the version of yourself that you want to become. Because when you rise, everything around you rises with you. When you heal, your relationships improve. When you grow, your life expands. When you take care of yourself, you become stronger, wiser, calmer, and more alive than you've ever been. This is your reminder that you are not here to live a life of exhaustion, resentment, or emotional depletion. You are here to live fully, to love deeply, to grow boldly, to walk in purpose, strength, and self-respect. You are here to build a life that reflects your worth, not a life that drains it. So from this day forward, promise yourself this: I will no longer apologize for prioritizing myself. I will no longer feel guilty for protecting my peace. I will no longer dim my light to make others comfortable. I will no longer sacrifice myself to please those who do not value me. I will choose me because I deserve to be chosen. You only get one life, one mind, one body, one soul. Treat it with the same love you give to everyone else. Stand tall, set boundaries, rest when you need to, walk away when you must, and rise every time life tries to pull you down. This is your life. This is your journey. And from this moment forward, you are a priority. Make yourself one, live like one, and never forget again who you are and what you deserve.